And I was starting to think this Thorn guy is my character's new best friend. Prove your loyalty to the Oculi Imperium. Kill your friend. So for a little bit of backstory on Call of the Dawn, if you don't care, just skip. Basically, the Oculus and the Stung are at war, and the Oculus are conquerors, right? So they drove all the people of this town into a cave. So everyone from this town has been in this cave for 5 years because of the Oculus and Stung, right? I'm an Oculus, so everybody wants me dead. They all want to kill me because I'm an Oculus. Also, instead of race, I'm going to use the word aspect. If you want to join the game, the Discord will be in my description. It's very fun. I would heavily recommend joining. And we are still super early into the storyline, so if you're going to join now. So I'm just starting off in this random village where everyone fled from. Alright, I don't really know anything about the Oculus or Stung War. Maybe I do. I don't fucking know. Alright, but that's where I'm starting. So I started off in the middle of this town where there was this guy, right? And I didn't really say anything to him. I was just kind of sitting there, right? And he comes up to me. He calls me a boy. He's like, hey boy, come down here and speak to me. Why are you following me around? I'm like, I'm not following you. Why the fuck are you talking to me like that? All right. After I tell him I wasn't following him, he tells me that the people might have fled to a cave he saw. And I'm like, oh, all right. And he's like, want to go look? I'm like, sure. So me and him, we're talking now, right? And we're going to go look in the underground cave to see what's going on in there. I actually haven't seen this part of the map yet, right? So this is my first time seeing it in character and in general. But before we do that, he points out my ugly ass clothes, and fair enough, so we go and get me some drip. Also, I probably mentioned this earlier, yes. Everyone wants me dead. I am being hunted by the entire game. So I also have to kind of try and hide my skin. And we do this with the ugly ass turban. So go one good look at my character, and now it's gone, and I'm ugly as shit now. Alright, so then we decide we're gonna go look at this cave. So we come up with this plan, and we are foreigners, alright, and we are looking for trade, looking for refuge here at this place. Thank God we did, because that comes in handy. Keep in mind, everyone wants me dead, alright, so that's why the turban's on. So as we're going through the cave, this guy walks out, and he instantly realizes that I'm an Oculus, alright, so he tells both of us to stop. And he's like threatening us, because apparently my people, the Oculi, conquered their entire nation, right? So he wants me dead. So thank God we made that whole foreigner situation, because he threw that out the window and said I'm his servant. And honestly, that was probably the better move, because after a little bit of an argument, he's okay with that. He's like, okay, you're a servant. You can stay with us. And he says that you can stay with us, but the Oculi doesn't get to leave. So we're both going to stay there for a couple days, and then I have to stay permanently though. Which he agrees to, and I helplessly go along with, just hoping he's joking or he's lying to him so we can get in there. So he takes us in, and there's this big ass gate, alright? And apparently only he opens the gate using his magic button or whatever. I don't really get it. So we go a little further in, and he's telling me to get rid of my clothes. All right, he wants me to put on some I guess slave attire, because my clothes are too trippy for him and whatever. He also tells me to take off my turban. Little lore drop, this guy doesn't know his name. All right, he knows my name, he doesn't know his own name, and he can't tell me it. So even though it says it above his name in character, I don't know it. But we talk about it, and we're trying to come up with a plan. And he's like, eventually when he goes to leave, I'll just sneak out with them. I'll try and run out with them. And I'm like, alright, this guy looks pretty strong, right? He's got a katana with a blue enchant, and he's got cool armor. He looks cool. So I'm like, alright, bet. He actually gave me the choice. Stay here with them, because they can be good people, they can help me get stronger, or go with him. And obviously, I choose to go with him. I want to be strong. Alright, I don't want to be in this lame cave with all these people. So I'm going to call my clan an aspect, and after a little bit of what I'm going to call aspectism, we walk away with Formilius of the church. I'm not going to say that name. And then all these people following us, a bunch of jerks. They're trying to kill me. Alright, they all want me dead, because apparently my clan, I killed them, whatever, get over it. I conquered them. So after a little bit, this guy Verdun comes up, and he's look into my eyes, right? And then he just spits on Alistair Thorne. And he's not taking none of that, right? So after that, he got called filth. So Alistair Thorne chases this guy up the ramp, alright? And he just starts whooping on him, right? He puts him in a full combo, freezes him, and then go back to arguing. Verdun hits him back once, and then we kind of try and defuse it, because we're already high risk. They already don't want us here. So we kind of just try and drop it. But Verdun will pay for this. This video is not over, but that concludes my first PD. We have 2 more PDs upcoming. One small one and one very long one. Alright, so this is where PD2 begins, right? So far, Alistair Thorne isn't on yet. And I just talked to Gabriel, and he's apologizing, right? He's like, I'm sorry for how rude I was. And then he just shows me around. He's like, oh, this is the well. Here's the blah, blah, blah. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest. But I'm not gonna lie, he could see I was struggling. I felt with Gabriel heavy. He gave me some actual drip, and I'm not gonna lie, the fit he gave me was absolutely fire. But then Thorn joins, and we start talking about how we're gonna escape. And this guy Verdun, who's already been on me, is listening. Alright, he's hearing everything we're saying, and we're like, oh my god. So then we just go a little further, and we're thinking about executing this guy Verdun. Alright, he's gotta go. He knows too much. So we go and talk to him, and he says, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, and just claims ignorance, which this guy definitely knows exactly what we're talking about. So, you know, we don't really know what to do about him, but we leave it for now. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But we end up talking to this guy Verdun again, trying to find out where the head knight Gabriel was, right? And just so you know, there is a lot of conflicts between me and Verdun, alright? He has talked to us, me and Thorn, like 5 times. I haven't shown all of them because I feel like it'll drag on, but we've been arguing a lot throughout this entire LARP session. This one and the one before that. So there's already a lot of tension between us. Believe it or not, we have another argument with Verdun, and Verdun's getting mad at Thorn, and Thorn's like, oh, we don't eat your food. And I low-key pull out a piece of chicken that I got from them and ate in his face, so I kind of sold Thorn. But then Verdun's like, you don't deserve our food. And then I low-key got kind of tired of this guy Verdun. And I usually have been silent, but now I called him a fool. Then a spider comes up, and we low-key just leave Verdun to fight it by himself. Then, a little after, we go and talk to Gabriel, and Gabriel says Thorn stinks, which is a reoccurring thing. And then that's basically where PD2 ends. PD3 starts with everyone going up to this guy named Hydrus. And he starts telling everyone about this thing where you can leave the caves and get something called merits. And you can trade those merits in for food, maybe training, clothes, I don't fucking know. And me and Thorn are trying to use this as a way for me to escape, right? So we go through the cave and we're trying to find the exit. And we go to make this jump, right? Not a hard jump. And I fucking fall. Yep. I fall. So I'm kind of fucked. I'm like, dang, is this really how I wipe? And I kind of just get teleported back up because, you know, Thorn's a goat. But then we run through and we find that the exit to the cave is blocked off. So we can't leave the fucking cave. And then apparently these 2 oculi jump down into the cave. So they're trying to attack us, right? Apparently they tried to hit someone off. And they're running away now, right? Because the 2 oculi that jumped in are like, they're basically freshies. They're nobodies. They're just like me. They're weak as shit. Alright? And we find the oculi hiding around a corner, chilling, talking about like how weak he is. And we're talking about how we should let this guy live. We don't gotta kill this guy, right? Like he's a person of my kind. He doesn't have to die. And I really didn't want him to either. Then Captain fucking Metagame walks up. Well, I guess he wasn't really Metagame. He really was like right there listening. But he figures out what we're trying to do. And he's like, just give me the boy so we can kill him. Right? And we try and argue our point. He's a 15-year-old Oculus. Why does he have to die? And they were not having any of it. So we all went back to the cave because there was no exit. And low-key, a majority of the people were on our side about not killing the 15-year-old for no reason. Right? And so while we're all arguing about it, we get put in a cutscene. And these sick bastards put him up on a cliff and burn him off the cliff. They kill him. Low-key lame execution. Like that was like kind of like very lame. But they killed him. Alright, these sick pieces of crap. But now everyone's talking about leaving the cave, and these 2 people show up. A guy named Suko and the guy named Fulmius the Betrayer. Alright, so we didn't know what was going on. We saw they were arguing, and Suko was trying to get everyone to leave the cave, and Gabriel wanted to keep us in there because apparently it was too dangerous outside the cave. And this guy's just talking out of his ass, alright? It's not dangerous outside the cave. I was there before. And I'm not gonna lie, everyone was low-key on Suko's side. Like, after watching that Oculus get burned off a cliff, everyone wanted Suko to help us escape the cave. And eventually, we all went with Suko, and Gabriel said, there will be consequences if you leave this cave. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, yeah, we're fine, alright? So then, we go with Suko. And then we all go with Suko, and we're trying to find our way out of this cave, right? Because the edges are blocked off, and we're all fighting. For some reason, Verdun's with us, even though he's completely against me and Thorn, who started this whole argument against leaving the cave, right? We lucky started a whole, like, thing with everybody that we all got him on our side to leave the cave. Eventually, we left the cave. Suko opened the entrance up, and we all got out of there. Thank God. I thought we were going to have to fight Gabriel or something, and he wasn't going to let us leave. That would have been terrible, I'm not going to lie. And then, the Stung Syndicate comes out of nowhere. If you don't remember, Stung and the Oculus are against each other. And he starts talking about how he wants to sell me as a servant to people. And he grabs my face and slams me into the floor. Alright. He's like trying to show his strength, I guess, whatever. Screw this guy. And Thorn's like, and he's talking to Thorn. He's like, get out of here unless you want to die. And Thorn leaves. Low-key fair. I can see how strong this guy was. But Thorn leaves. And now I'm left with me and the stung fucking syndicate. And he's like, stay here or die. So he had to go do something, and he's telling me to stay here or I get murdered, right? And I'm low-key, like, I figured if I don't stay here, he's probably going to find a way to track me down. I don't know if there's anywhere else safe for me. So I knew I was cooked. And Thorn comes back, and thankfully, he convinces me to leave, which was the best choice. I was talking to him earlier about it, like after the PD, and he was telling me that if we didn't leave, I was going to be sold off, and I was probably never going to play the game again on the slot, all right? So thank God. And we eventually decide we're going to run into Oculus territory. Because I'm an Oculus, but the Oculus are known for being just jerks. Alright, so we go to the Oculus territory in hopes that they'll take me back and accept Thorn as like a honorary member because he saved my life like 4 times. There was one final PD after this. This is where this one ends, right? And the final PD is a private PD with just me. A private PD means it's based around my progression, so I can progress as a character before the story continues. So we find out where the Oculus territory is and we go in there. And he asks who we are. We're like, oh, I'm Ace, I'm an Oculus, and this is the guy that saved my life multiple times. Alright. This guy says, prove your loyalty to the Oculi Imperium. Kill your friend. So, I try and talk my way out of it. He's not letting it budge. He makes us fight. We knew we weren't beating the other guy, so I knew we just had to fight and hope that he wouldn't kill us. So, we just start fighting. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of whooping Thorn here, alright, for the most part. But we fight, we keep fighting, and it's sad, bro. It's not like I'm happy I get to fight some guy. He saved my life like 2 times. I actually felt bad in real life. But after a little bit, you know, it was actually a pretty close fight in the end. I low-key headbutt him there. That was pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. But I finally knock Alistair Thorn. He was letting me win, and after talking to Vezork, which is the actual NPC there, in call, we were like, come on, bro, don't do this to us. And he let us go again, and he let us try again to where we might both be able to be let into the Imperium instead of him just killing him. Now, I won't bore you with this whole fight. I'll just skip to the end. He did win. I'm not gonna say I let him win. I'm not gonna say he let me win. Okay, I'm gonna say it's 1-1 and whatever. Alright. He won and we both got not let into the Oculi Imperium, but he's invited to the Oculi Imperium cookouts. Alright, he's invited to the family cookouts. Me, however, I am a part of the Oculi Empire. So I don't really know what that means for me. Hopefully I can find out in these next couple of PDs. Alright, that is gonna be it for the video. Let me know what y'all thought of this video. I low-key love my music choice. I thought it was great for what was happening. But if you want to join the game, the Discord is in the description, like I said earlier. You can also use my GearUP affiliate link to give me money and get better ping in video games. And I'll see you guys later.
Oh my god,